guys, my name is Gravity Owens, and this is the third episode of Orbus Talk, a podcast where I discuss the game Orbus VR Reborn and how playing it can benefit your overall life. I have been playing Orbus for some years now and have progressed to being one of only a handful of hardworking people who can defeat the hardest boss in the game. In this special episode of Orbus Talk, I want to talk about pets. What are they? What can they do for us? And some easy ways to power level your classes. But the reason why this is a special episode of Orbus Talk is because of my very special guest. Pherosis is the creator of the Orbus Wiki and a guild leader. We will talk about why and how the wiki was created, and what makes her so dedicated to this game, and her personal experiences in Orbus as a PvP player. This is going to be a fun episode, so sit back, relax, and join me in this wonderful world of virtual reality and undergo an immersive experience that you cannot have anywhere else. All right, you may be wondering how to get to max level fast. Maybe you have a friend who is already level 30 and you want to join them in shards or raids. It doesn't matter the reason why you want to level, because I'm here to help guide you on how to power level that character quickly. Where do we start? Let's begin with the easiest task. Critter capturing would be the easiest to start. Pherosis is the critter capture guy's name. He can be found across from the player house in a funky U-shaped house. Here, you purchase your first net gun so you can complete his missions. After you have collected his missions, he requires you to catch various creatures from around the Orbus world by using that net gun. If you bring that net gun to your face near eggs, scat, and other animal signs on the ground, it will make a sound and creatures will spawn ready for you to catch them. Catch the required number of creatures and return back to Pherosis to turn them in. This can be an extremely quick way to level up. Salvaging is the second best way of power leveling before your first level 30 class, and can be accomplished while in process of doing other missions or quests. Whisper can be found in the side building of High Step. Her missions are super easy and require minimal effort. A few of her quests are about attaining money, so selling a couple of things out of your inventory can easily fulfill this quest. Another quest of hers is just gathering things around in the overworld. So walking around while killing things and gathering as you go is a good way to get multiple things done at once. When talking to a quest-giving NPC, there will be a small box in the upper right-hand corner of the screen with numbers on it. Clicking on that allows you to repeat the quest that you have already completed. This works for any NPC that gives you a mission in town, except the long-term mission guy. This is a great way to continually do the same mission and level up easily. The main story quest will put you in areas that are way above your capable level, and this normally results in death. So wait until you have hit the appropriate level for that zone before trying to do those main story quests.
Ever wanted to try those pre-portioned, make-at-home, fresh ingredient meal kit services such as HelloFresh or Blue Apron, but the price tag is a bit out of your budget? Here's a new, it's a used meal kit service for you to take a bite out of. Brown Apron. Brown Apron is a meal-by-meal service that cuts the cost while also cutting the quality of the ingredients they send you. The company was started by a couple of bottom feeders surviving off the damaged, discarded, and returned items from the dumpster behind Blue Apron's order processing plant, and it quickly grew once they realized they could sell the garbage for profit on the internet. And because you're listening to this podcast today, you can enter the promo code BUGCHECK at checkout, and the Brown Apron team will give your first order a second glance to comb through it for bugs and stuff. Check out Brown Apron today. You won't be disappointed that you hadn't heard about them sooner. BugCheck promo code may only be used once and only applies to your first order. Ingredients provided may or may not make a complete meal and do not come with a recipe. Do not order from Brown Apron if you have not had a tetanus shot within the last 8 years. It is not recommended to feed garbage to children under the age of 12. Brown Apron provides no freshness guarantee.
Thank you for staying tuned in. My name is Gravity Owens, and you're listening to Orbus Talk. Orbus is one of those games where you think you figured it all out, but there will always be something new to discover. Dragons. Dragons, you say? Yes, dragons. They are adorable. They follow you around everywhere you go, like this little loyal creature you've always wanted. Besides being adorable, what do? And how do I get one? Those answers are easy. Dragon pets are there to make your player experience better. You have 3 options of type of dragon: plunderer, gatherer, or jumper. Feeding your pet a bonus treat will give it one of these 3 options at random. You can keep feeding the treats to your pet until you get the desired dragon type. Plunderer will collect your loot bags. Gatherer will go get resources from around the map as you travel near them, but will not pick up ores. And Jumper will take time off your home teleporter. And all dragons can do dragon races. That's what dragons can do for you, but where can you get them? On rare occasions, endgame players will find someone with a green leaf on their heads and just give them one to be helpful. If that doesn't happen to you, then you can always ask someone standing around High Step if they have one for sale. And if you're shy, there's always the stock dragon you can buy in the basement of High Step at the dragon shop or in the auction house.
Hey kids, do you like toys? Do you like
satanic worship?
Then you'll love Lucifurby, the soft and snuggly,
Damning and cuddly,
interactive fun toy.
Lucifurby, are you hungry?
feed me the blood of your priest.
Lucifurby, I love you.
From Hasbro.
Thank you for staying tuned in. My name is Gravity Owns, and you're listening to Orbus Talk. As I mentioned earlier in the podcast, today's episode is going to be a very special recording because I have an amazing guest for you guys today. Her name is Pherosis. She's an endgame player who has spent countless hours doing research and development to provide information for players of all levels and classes. This information has been gathered and placed in a convenient place called the Travelers Hall Wiki, wiki.thehall.xyz. The wiki is an extremely useful place for a player to go. This site shows you everything from the basics of each class to the more advanced tactics of raiding, what affixes would be best for your armor or weapon, as well as the best tile sets for your playstyle. It doesn't matter what class you choose to play, I bet the wiki will teach you something that you didn't know. Pherosis is an endgame player who has spent her Orbus career as a red player. I hope that her experiences as a red player will give you some insight into how the game can really be fun if you play towards your needs. That's enough flattery. Let's bring out the woman herself. Pherosis, welcome to Orbus Talk.
Hi, Gravity. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
So, what was your inspiration for creating the wiki in the first place?
It started as a small dream. We wanted to have a central resource that all players could use as long as they have internet access. It wasn't until Squishy came along that dream became a reality. She put a ton of work in on the front end before the wiki was even put to ink in the first place.
Wow, this squishy person sounds pretty amazing.
Yeah, she really is.
In preparation for today's interview, I asked around to see what people would like to know about you if they had the chance to ask you themselves. The most asked question I got was, how do you deal with people who are behaving in a toxic manner? You seem to handle that better than most other people do.
What I do is I remember that there's always at least two living, breathing people who have feelings who matter on each side of any exchange. And then I do my best to always be gentle with the people on the other side of any exchanges with me. At the end of the day, we're all just human.
That's some pretty good advice.
Thanks. I do my best to live by it.
You have been running the wiki and your guild for some time now. Doing that has to be a lot of work. Though you make it look easy, I'm sure it's not. How do you stay motivated?
They're both labors of love. For the wiki, it's the drive to know and then share that knowledge. And for my guild, I love every one of my members. Just hanging out with them makes every day a little brighter.
That sounds like a great place to call home.
It is.
For the wiki, how do you get the information that you publish on the site?
Research, and more research. I and many of our volunteers have spent countless hours being test subjects for Scott, where either we're killing something by inches, stripping, deselecting talents to be killed ourselves, or just running around for fun and testing out ideas.
After all that time spent researching, what keeps you coming back to Orbus? Why don't you get bored?
I love Orbus. The devs and the people are amazing. The community is incredibly supportive. And there is almost always something new to learn or experience in a new way. My friend Scott actually gave me some amazing advice a few years ago. He said, if you find you're getting tired of the game, change how you play it.
I've never thought of it that way. At least now I know I'm not going to get bored.
Oh, yeah. I hadn't thought of it that way before you brought it up either. It was very good advice.
All right, well, we'll continue this talk with Pherosis after a short commercial break.
I'm so sick of all these audiobooks and these people speaking at me the words I could be doing myself. Hey everyone, I'm here to tell you about a brand new service. It's called Legible. Legible is a monthly subscription service that links your Audible account and transcribes your audiobooks for you. Legible gives you the option to download the written text to your phone or tablet, or you can have them printed out on many sheets of paper and mail it to you for no extra charge. Gone are the days of having some stranger's interpretation of the tones and nuances of each character's thoughts and voice. With Legible, you have the freedom to determine all that on your own. It's like closed captioning for your favorite audiobooks. And with the paper delivery option, you'll never be without a good audiobook in case of a power outage from a storm or any other natural or nuclear disaster. Legible, this thing should be called affordable. It's so reasonably priced, and for just 0.5 cents a word, you could be reading great audiobooks such as The Grapes of Wrath for just under $850. It's time to stop being a follower and start being a reader. Try Legible today.
Thank you for staying tuned in. My name is Gravity Owens, and you're listening to Orbus Talk. We are here interviewing Pherosis, the creator of the Travelers Hall Wiki, and a longtime guild leader. So, you are the leader of an endgame progression guild called Thrive. Do you have any advice for anyone who might want to try to do the same thing as you by creating their own endgame guild?
Absolutely. Tons, actually. We'll do my best to keep it to 3 key points here, though, so we don't spend the next 3 hours with me waxing poetically on, how to run a guild.
Okay.
Number 1, make sure the direction of your guild, like what it's actually about, is something that you absolutely love doing. If you find that you're enthusiastic about what you've created, it will prosper. If you find that you are less than enthusiastic about it, change your focus or you won't want to be there. 2, only invite into your guild people who you would enjoy spending time with in real life. This is critical. If you do not enjoy the people you spend time with, you will find other ways to spend your time. 3, please keep in mind that running a guild is a full-time commitment. Very much like having a second occupation on top of whatever it is you already do for a living. It's okay to lean on your friends for support, and it's also okay to pass on the torch to somebody else if you find running a guild is too much.
Sounds like you've done your research.
Just a wee bit.
Okay, so I'm curious about the PvP side of Orbus, since I'm a white player. What's it like?
Do you have a favorite dungeon?
I quite enjoy Broken Halls.
Do you remember the very first Broken Hall you walked into?
Yes.
What did it feel like when you walked in?
Exhilarating and scary, and I died.
Fair. Well, every day in the overworld is like that for a PvP player. You go in, and you don't know what's going to happen. There's adrenaline rushes, there is new things that you learn, new people that you meet, and every day is new and exciting. This is one of those things that you have to experience to really understand how it feels.
That makes sense. Well, what are your experiences with the Trickster Goblin, then? That's something PvP players do, isn't it?
The Trickster Goblin is a really good time to go to a zone when you know other PvPers are going to be there. And a lot of us just go for the murder. We're not there for the goblin. We're there to kill players.
You're just there for the murder?
And some of us are there for the goblin. Think about it like this. You've beat every boss in the game, yeah? At this point.
Yes.
What else is there for you?
So you're saying the players are basically a boss now?
Yes. And each one of them is a unique boss that as you get to know them, you will learn the moves of. And you are a boss for them. Playing against each other makes you both better. So it's a boss that is ever learning and ever changing. That you have to continually strive to be better in order to beat. That's PvP. Does that help you feel better?
As a white player,
Yeah.
I understand it more, it seems like. I feel like you explained it very well. Not that I'm going to go out being red anytime soon, unless I'm actually with my group of people.
Fair, but at least you're willing to go out and be red now. That's a step in the right direction.
As long as I'm protected by my family.
Well, yeah. Yeah, well, doing it with your friends is important, right? We play an MMO for a reason.
How does it feel knowing your loot can be stolen at any moment that you were innocently doing missions around the overworld? Can't that be really annoying?
Well, first of all, Khajiit is never innocent. I clicked the button to toggle on PvP. That was my choice. Any loot that I choose to carry on me is fair game.
Does playing as a red player really make your game experience that different than a white player's?
Yeah, very much so. I go out into the overworld knowing that there's more than just NPCs out to get me. I need to watch out for other players as well, which changes how I plan events and treat the overworld in general. It makes it way more fun.
Aren't you just afraid of someone randomly coming up and zap, you're dead, and then they take all of everything and you're just screwed?
If I went out into the overworld and didn't empty my bag, oops, my bad. When I go out there, if somebody actually manages to kill me, they're welcome to all of it. Like, they earned that. Everything in Orbus has a loot table. So do I. Whatever I'm carrying at the moment is my loot table. And sometimes I have epic loot, and sometimes I have base level loot. It just depends on when you catch me.
I don't get it.
Yeah, PvP is a special animal. It's one of those things that some people really like and some people don't like at all. And so figuring out where you fall on the spectrum, well, is something that you absolutely should do.
Well, thank you, Pherosis. That seems like some reasonable advice. So what advice would you give a player who has never played in PvP, but is holding themselves back because of their fear of what could happen?
Do some Battleground. It is a safe way to experience PvP firsthand and see if it's something you might actually enjoy. In Battlegrounds, your loot is safe. Your armor never needs to be repaired. The classes and gear are all level scaled. And best of all, you get a chance to meet what could become a whole new group of amazing friends. Orbus's PvP community is fantastic.
Now, the way that has been described makes it sound fun.
It is. It's amazing fun.
Thank you again for joining me today, Pherosis. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to do this interview with me.
My pleasure, Gravity. Thank you again for having me on the show.
That is all the time we have today with our guest, Pherosis, but if you want more information about the wiki, head over to the website or check out the Travelers Hall Discord. In our next episode, who the hell is Scott? Legendary items, and I'll explain what your grinder pot does and places to fill it. Orbus is a great place to express yourself and make friends. Don't be afraid to take the plunge into virtual reality. I will never express the true awesomeness of playing virtual reality games, but when you try it for yourself and realize how much it can benefit you mentally and physically, while also having fun in the process. That's it for today's episode of Orbus Talk. I really appreciate you listening until the end. My name is Gravity Owens, and I have been your host today. I hope to see you next time, and as my friend Mishka says, happy hunting.